wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans. Professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up. This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's 13-14.
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.
What is happening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 91st installment of the one and only Wrestling Matters Podcast. My name is Anthony Walker. Hope you are well in whatever it is you are doing, and hope you're enjoying the festive holidays as well, and hope you had a Merry Christmas, and hope you will have a Happy New Year as well, but we haven't got to the New Year bit yet, so hope you have a Merry Christmas, hope you've had a Merry Christmas, hope you got what you want, hope you got what you need. On today's show, sorry, I've got a little bit of a brain fart there, but on today's show, I know where I am. On today's show, like I say, it's RAW Smackdown audio. That's right, RAW audio, Smackdown audio. Throw a bit of NXT in there as well, bit of Ring of Honor, and yeah, the third episode of ICW's Friday Night Fight Club will be reviewed. All of that to come in this episode. Plus, the final part of Michael Larkin's interview. The final part, the final installment, it is today. Like it or not, whatever, it is going to happen today. All of that is to come on the Wrestling Matters Podcast, the 91st installment. Jesus Christ. Also, I have a little bit of a discussion I want to say. I'm going to put this website over right now. I want to give him a shout out. NoDQ.com. I read a little bit of an article about Paige, and I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. On my website, theheadanthonywalker.net, there is a poll, or there's going to be a poll. The minute this goes out, which will be on Monday, probably as well, Monday, December 28th, this will go out, okay? This will go out on that day, and there's going to be a poll on my website. I'm going to do it over the weekend. I've done it over the weekend. There will be a poll up there right now on my website, theheadanthonywalker.net. Be sure to check it out. It is about the Women's Championship, and I'm not talking about the Divas title, I'm talking about the Women's title, because according to this article, there's talk about WWE renaming the Divas Championship title to the Women's Championship title. And Paige was asked by Sports Illustrated during an interview, she was asked the following question about would she object to the Divas title becoming the Women's Championship title. Here is what she said in response to the question, and I'll read the article out. NoDQ.com. The article will be in the description below as well, and she went on to say this: everyone wants it to be the Women's Championship, but I like the fact that it's called Divas because it separates us from the rest of the crowd. She continued, if someone says, hey, you're a diva, people instantly know you're in WWE. At first, I was all about the Women's Championship, but I like the fact it's just us. This is our baby. This is our brand. Yes, Paige, okay, it is a brand, Divas brand, whatever, it's a separate brand to the women's division, but you've got to realize this, honey, you're not a diva. None of the women on the roster are divas, okay? A diva is like what Sasha Banks said, okay? It's like what Sasha Banks said. That's why there's a divas revolution in the WWE at the moment, and I use that term loosely considering the direction it's gone, but hey, that's why there's a revolution in there, because women, it's called women's wrestling, not divas wrestling, Paige. I mean, for goodness sake, I mean, I don't know that much about the wrestling business, but I like to think I know a little bit about the product, considering the direction it's gone, you know, considering I've been watching it all my life, considering I watched NXT. I mean, for goodness sake, you're not divas, you're women's wrestlers. Give you an example. I watched 24 on WWE Network, and they told Sasha Banks, and it means, and divas means no striking or any of that stuff, and Sasha Banks found it, revolting. That she made like a revolting sound to it because she's not a diva. She's a women's wrestler. She wants to go in the ring and kick butt. She wants to go in the ring and kick some ass. It's called women's wrestling, not divas wrestling. And what friggin' annoys me is the fact, Paige, and I love you, but the fact that you would come out and say, it's a separate brand, it's our baby, okay? If you want to do that, then that's fine. But I tell you this, you'd be the only one in the division, because I think the majority of the wrestlers, the majority of the women on the roster want it to be the women's division. And that's what it should be. Divas division, it goes back to WrestleMania 30. And the Divas division, the Divas title was out well before the WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 30 was the first time the Divas Championship was defended at a WrestleMania. Nobody cares about the Divas. That's why the Divas division's in the turmoil, because everybody wants women's wrestling. Everybody wants wrestling. That's why there's a revolution. That's why there's an NXT brand that you built, by the way, that you stand up and built, by the way, because you were the first champion, and now you want it to be called the Divas division? Yeah. You're happy with it being the Divas division? It's your baby, it's your brand. Give me a break, Paige. We don't want to see divas acting like divas on there. We want to see a good quality wrestling, women's wrestling match. We don't want to see divas in there not striking and pulling hair and stuff like that. It's like Sasha Banks. It's like the girls on NXT, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Bayley, Becky Lynch. They want to go in there and kick some butt. They want to go in there and wrestle. That's what they want to do. They want to go in there and wrestle. They don't want to go in there, and not strike, be diva-ish. Give me a break. That's why the Divas division's in the shit that it's in, and that's why there is a Divas revolution, man. Wake up and smell the coffee, Paige. I thought you were better than that. Goodness sake. Goodness gracious me. And like I say, I find it ironic, since you were the very first NXT Women's Champion, you come out and say that. I bet you Triple H now regrets making you the first ever the NXT Women's Champion, man. Triple H didn't even want that. Doesn't even want the Divas division in there. Even thought of itself, the whole Divas division and the majority of the women on that Divas roster are probably underused because they can't do what they want to do on it. They can't wrestle because they were told not to, They're basically being put in straitjackets because they can't do what they want to do because they're not allowed to. That's why there's a women's division in NXT, because Triple H, smart cat that he is, sees the light and realizes that the talented women's division, the talented Divas division, the talented roster on that division is underused. And we've been saying this for years. Us wrestling fans have been saying this for years. And I find it disgusting, speaking as a fan, that you would come out and say this. It separates you from the rest of the crowd. What, you don't want to wrestle anymore? You just want to walk around and be divas? No wonder there's a Total Divas. That'll be changed soon. That'll be probably called Total Women's before long. Either that'll get cancelled. Come on. I, speaking as a fan, don't want to see you act like a diva in the ring. We want to see you wrestle, because that's what it is, a women's division. It's a wrestling title, not something that friggin' TNA and Jeff Hardy created and came out with that. Ridiculous, man. It's absolute bullshit that you would come out and say that. And you know what? I'm going to put a poll on the headanthonywalker.net to find out what the people think, what all these smart wrestling fans think. Do you want a women's division? Do you agree with Paige? Check my website out, theheadanthonywalker.net, and look for the section on the website that says poll, because there will be a poll there, and I want to know what you guys think. Okay, I will put it out the minute this podcast goes up, which will be on Monday, 28th of December. As I'm recording this right now, it's 24th of December, Christmas, early hours of Christmas Eve, and I will promise you this right now, I want to know what you guys think. I will promote it as best I can, and hopefully you guys will take part in it as well, because I'll tell you this right now, it's an absolute disgrace. I want women's wrestling back. I don't want a Divas division title. I've never won a Divas division title. Hell, I would probably say Sunday Segway brought this up. Let's get Medusa back and she could throw that in the trash like she did to the women's title in 96, 97 time when she went to WCW. Because I tell you what, she needs to do it to the Divas title. It's an absolute joke, Paige. And sorry, Paige, I love you as a wrestler. You are a great wrestler. But the fact that you come out and said something like that, man, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, you should be ashamed of yourself, okay? Bring back the women's title. Forget the Divas division. They are not divas. They are women, and they are talented women who probably are in straitjackets because they can't do what they want to do, and that's wrestle. That's why Triple H has created the NXT women's division, because he allows them to do the one thing that it says on the marquee, wrestle, because it is World Wrestling Entertainment, not World Divas Entertainment. Give me a break, Paige. Anyway, guess you could call that a pipe bomb, but that's how I feel about the situation. Hopefully you guys will take part in that little poll, and hopefully we'll get your feedback, and hopefully please take part in it, guys, because I'll read out the results if people get involved. I'll read out the results next week And the link to the website will be in the description below, along with the article to this as well. And you can have your say on it, and you can have your opinion on it. But I've just given you my opinion, and quite frankly, I think it's a disgrace. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anthony Walker, and I'll be back in part 2 with the Raw review, and then in part 3 with the SmackDown audio review, and then I'll be back in part 4 with the usual stuff: NXT, Ring of Honor, and then ICW. TNA is not back until early January when they're back on the Pop TV network as well. I am done with TNA. I'm done with this World Title Series and whatever it is. It's probably just going to be highlights up until then. The semi-finals will be on Pop TV starting in January, so TNA will be back then on the podcast. So until then, you've got ICW, you've got Ring of Honor, you've got NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. And I'll be back after this, and I'll play the Raw review, and then in part 3 I'll play the SmackDown review, and then I'll go and do my usual routine as well after that. So stay tuned, there's a lot to come here on the Wrestling Matters Podcast, episode 91. If you like the Wrestling Matters Podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM Podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters Podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? As you can see, I am watching Raw. Well, watching the end of it as it just finished there. And now I'll get on with the review. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I did promote this, but sometimes I don't know when I'm going to stay up or not to watch this. So I stayed up, watched it, enjoyed it. So I thought, I'll review it for you. As you can see there, Roman Reigns spearing Sheamus after a win from Dean Ambrose. More on that in a second. And Steph's reaction was beating up an announcer. Sick. Now, speaking of Steph, Raw kicked off with Steph in the face of Roman Reigns, and basically Roman Reigns blanking her, just turning his back, trying to talk to him, disrespected. Steph forces him to get out the ring, tells him to get out the ring, and just disrespects him even more. And then Steph, out of the reaction out of it, makes a match between Dean Ambrose and Sheamus in a steel cage, which you've just seen a little bit of there, but not very good. But anyway, you just seen me finish watching it, and now I'll review that later on in the show. Also, match-wise, concerning from a brawl with the Slammy Awards, when he was presenting, Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler went one-on-one. Good match between the two. Great match. In fact, dominated mostly by Kevin Owens, but Ziggler fought back, only to run into a pop-up powerbomb from Kevin Owens. What's next? We'll have to wait and see on that one. I'll get to the awards in a second. I'm just going through the matches. Jack Swagger and Del Rio picked up in a way where they left off with from TLC. Del Rio gets the win on that one. That was the whatever match. The second match of the night saw Bray Wyatt versus Kane, but it didn't last because it ultimately turned into Kane and Team ECW versus the Wyatt family. The Team ECW being Dudley's and Tommy Dreamer. Also, Braun Strowman proved to be the difference maker in the match because Strowman clotheslined the Dudleys to allow Harper to pick up a win by pinning one of the Dudleys. So a difference maker with that. What's going to be the feud on that one? I don't know. Where's that going to go next? I don't know. Also, it was announced John Cena one-on-one with Alberto Del Rio next week on Raw. Yes, Cena's back. Now, also, I'm just looking through the matches, guys, because I want to do the Slammy Awards separate. Got all that there. Got all that there. And there too. Just bear with me, guys. I'm just checking to see what I've got on my notes. New Day in a handicap match went up against the Usos. New Day dominated, but Usos managed to pick up an upset win. Where does that leave New Day for tomorrow on Super SmackDown? I don't know. I will review that tomorrow right after the show, so please stay tuned for that. That will be tomorrow after the show at 10 o'clock USA time, 3 o'clock UK time in the morning, early hours of the morning, because New Day defend the tag team titles against Lucha Dragons. Neville went one-on-one with Rusev with the Miz at ringside as well. Rusev won that one by submission. Not really much to talk about in that match. I find it ironic that Neville wins an award and then he jumps out to Rusev. Sick. More on that in a second. A Divas match between Becky Lynch and Brie Bella repeated from last week's SmackDown, and Becky won it clean, even though Charlotte was at ringside. What direction is that going? I don't know. I made it clear on the Max Wrestling podcast, Max Wrestling UK podcast. Link is in the description below. Check it out. This Charlotte direction where it's gone, this Divas Revolution, I'm basically at my wit's end with it, to be honest. But the direction Charlotte's gone, I don't like. I like Charlotte as a champion. I don't like the direction she's gone. That's all I'm saying. And it's amazing Ric Flair wasn't at ringside because he was presenting Match of the Year. The League of Nations attacked the Usos, and which led on to the main event of the evening. Somebody forgot to tell the League of Nations that they attacked the Usos. Sheamus went 2 down, 1 to go. They obviously forgot about Roman Reigns, the champion. The numbers game was with the League of Nations, and it was like 4-on-1. That was until Del Rio slams the door, and then Roman Reigns comes out, clears the League of Nations, and Dean Ambrose manages to get the win by taking a bump from the cage, because both men were on the cage on the outside. And it was also announced that Dean Ambrose defends the Intercontinental title at SmackDown against Ziggler and Owens in a triple threat match. All in all, match-wise, it was a good Raw. Few matches that didn't catch my eye. What's next for the League of Nations and the family, as they're known, feud, remains to be seen. No doubt Sheamus will get a WWE title match at some point as well. All in all, match-wise, it was good. And obviously, they forgot about one member of the family. And Stephanie's reaction to it, considering she got disrespected earlier on in the night, Stephanie's reaction to it was slapping the hell out of Tad, the announcer, backstage. Really? Anyway, like I said, though, all in all, match-wise, it was a very good match. Very good match-wise, at least, on Raw. It wasn't the best, but they were okay. Now we get to the nitty-gritty, because I have a little bit of an issue here. I was on the Max Wrestling UK, the Max Wrestling podcast the other day, hosted by Daz. Shout out to you, sir. I agree with him. It seems that the Slammy Awards are fucking rigged to the core, man. Rigged to the core. Now, holy shit, did some of the decisions go flat. Good grief. We'll kick it off with the first bullshit of the night. And this is not a knock on Adrian Neville, by the way. Breakout Star of the Year. Not a knock on Adrian Neville. But he didn't really do much this year. Kevin Owens should have won that one. I mean, who came up with the idea backstage at Raw or WWE? Oh yeah, we'll just give the award to Adrian Neville, considering he had a feud. He became runner-up in the King of the Ring. He had a feud with Stardust, which led to a match at SummerSlam. So I guess beating up John Cena, your first match in the main roster, I guess beating John Cena doesn't count as, breakout star of the year. And, winning the Intercontinental Championship and having great matches along the way. Oh, my God. That one blew me away, that one. Really did. And then Kevin Owens got into a brawl with Ziggler, which led to their match later on in the evening after interrupting Neville, which he quite rightly so. I'd have been pissed if it would have been him. Santino Morello returned, which was good to see. And he presented R-Truth with the LOL moment of the year, because R-Truth won that one, which is where he came out and thought he was in the Money in the Bank match. I didn't find that funny, but anyway. The OMG shocking moment of the year was presented by Paul Heyman and went to Kalisto for the TLC Selena Del Sol through a ladder. If you haven't seen it, go and watch TLC. Or go and watch Raw and you'll be able to see it for yourself. But go and watch TLC. Jesus Christ. That was an unbelievable maneuver. Steph presents Superstar of the Year, which in a way was kind of a surprise, to be honest. Because Seth Rollins won it. Now, don't get me wrong, he's had a hell of a year, which was ruined by an injury. But I didn't think they were going to give him it, to be honest. But hey, I got no ifs and buts about it. I'm all for it. He deserves it. He's had a hell of a year. It was just a shame it had to be spoiled by an injury. But he made it clear when he comes back, he wants his belt back. Be interested to see what happens, though. Hero in All of Us was presented by Mark Henry. And yes, John Cena won, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, John Cena will be back next week on Raw facing Alberto Del Rio. I have no idea. They didn't say it was going to be for the championship for the US title at least. But they mentioned it. And more on that next week, I suppose. Santa Claus presents Surprise of the Year, which Sting won, but Santa Claus wasn't Santa Claus. Turned out to be Bo Dallas. Fucking hate that guy. God damn. Two main things I hate in the WWE. Bo Dallas, New Day. End of. Ugh. Fucking Bo Dallas. If I had to pick one, definitely Bo Dallas. God. Gives me the willies. That smile, I want to slap him. Yeah, Bo, leave. I believe you should leave the WWE. But anyway. What we got here. Yeah, by the way, another one that got on my nerves as well. Tag Team of the Year. All the tag teams you've had. New Day win the titles as well. I hate the New Day, but they should have got Tag Team of the Year. In WWE, at least. Who the fuck came up with the idea to give the Usos Tag Team of the Year? Last year, maybe. This year, really? Considering one of the Usos spent time on SmackDown during the summer as a commentator because the other one was out with an injury. Really? I'd love to know who came up with that idea. Because that's another one that was so surrounded in bullshit. Nothing against the Usos. I'm not knocking the Usos, but really? Tag Team of the Year in 2015? For what? I hate to say it, and it pains me to say it, but New Day should have got that. I mean, no wonder Daz said they were rigged. Anyway, Diva of the Year, quite rightly so, went to Nikki Bella. I have to agree with that, much to Paige's dismay, but Nikki paid tribute to every diva backstage in the locker room as well, besides her, so credit to her for that. Miss presented This Is Awesome moment of the year, which was The Rock and Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania beating up the Authority. And Ronda almost breaking the arm of Stephanie. Or either that or just taking it on for a souvenir. And match of the year, quite rightly so, went to Undertaker and Kane. Although, when Ric Flair presented it, I nearly thought that Brock Lesnar came out, but it wasn't. It was Paul Heyman. So the rumors went true. Brock Lesnar did not show up December 19th. Will he show up next week? I'll have to wait and see. All in all, a very good awards, couple of bullshit ones, but in any event, 3 other ones that were announced as well. If I could find them in my notes here that I made. Stone Cold Podcast, quite rightly so, is, according to the Slammy Awards, the best show on the network. Mizdow wins Double Cross of the Year. It's amazing I forgot even if he was even still around, to be honest. And Rivalry of the Year went to Lesnar and Taker, and Roman Reigns wins Extreme Moment of the Year, which, quite frankly, was deservedly so, considering the moment of the year he won it for was beating the hell out of Triple H at TLC. But all in all, a good show for the Slammies. A little run through there, a little review there, if you will. Nothing much big on the show. Be interested to see what happens on SmackDown tomorrow. I'll be reviewing that on this channel. Subscribe to the channel. It'll be here. It's already promoted, and it'll be live. It will come to you straight after SmackDown tomorrow, because I'll be watching that as well. It's very rare you get to see SmackDown live, because it's usually on the Thursdays. But it's very rare I get to see SmackDown live, which they should do more often, quite frankly. But more on that tomorrow. 2 matches already been announced. Kalisto and Sin Cara, the Lucha Dragons, challenged New Day for the tag team titles. And if tonight's any indication, I think we'll have new tag team champions. And triple threat match, Dean Ambrose versus Ziggler versus Owens. And Dean Ambrose to retain. Dean Ambrose to retain the title on that one. I do not want Dean Ambrose. I want Dean Ambrose to have a solid title run, because boy, oh boy, does he deserve it. And when he won the Intercontinental Championship at TLC, I'm not going to lie, I marked out. Overall, though, guys, the review, out of 5, I would give it a 3, to be honest with you, because Slammies was just, it wasn't the worst show, but there was some bullshit on it as well. Neville winning breakout star of the year, really. Usos winning tag team of the year. Yeah, you know. Oh my God. I'd love to know who comes up with the polls, you know, who covers the polls. Because even though they were trying to promote it on the network, you know, on that, actually not the network, the app on the phone, they want you to download the app and everything, get you to vote. You know, you vote for somebody and it clears that they change it at the last minute kind of thing, which is, I mean, nothing against Neville, breakout star of the year. Maybe on NXT, but breakout star of the year? Nah. Not the run he's been booked on under. And Kevin Owens should have won that one at least. And Usos, tag team of the year, considering one pit spent 6 months on the sidelines and the other one was on SmackDown doing color commentary for most of the summer. Nah, don't agree with that whatsoever. If any event, Kevin Owens should have won that one, the breakout star of the year, and New Day, as much as that pains me to say it, but I call it as I see it, New Day should have won tag team of the year. Because they were the champions and they had a hell of a run, you know, hell of a fights and everything. You know, and some great matches. I'll give them their due. They did do good this year. As much as I hate them and I don't like them, they did do good. They should have got tag team of the year. Usos, no chance. All in all, ratings overall, I will give it a 3 out of 5 and a solid, I would say 6 out of 10. If you're talking Sunday segue terms. 6 out of 10, 3 out of 5 for me. It wasn't the greatest Raw. It wasn't the best Raw or Slammies or whatever. But the bullshit that went down in it, as far as the awards, spoiled it for me. You know, give me a sour taste in my mouth, which is just complete bullshit. I mean, it's still mind-boggling to me right now anyway, even though the show's over. That about wraps it up for this video, guys. Just a quick one. Quick review. Nothing much really went down on Raw. Tune in tomorrow for the SmackDown review that I'll do after the show, which will be 10 o'clock or after 10 United States time. 3 o'clock in the morning UK time, which will be on the 23rd of December, early hours of the 23rd of December. And I'll review SmackDown as well, Super SmackDown. And I'm very much looking forward to watching SmackDown because it's not very, and the thing is with SmackDown, even though nobody really cares about it, it's not 3 hours like Raw is. So get a bit of a 2 hour, spare bit of 2 hours for SmackDown as well, and then I'll be able to go to bed straight after it. Because we are in the UK, it is early hours in the morning. All in all, guys, be sure to check out my website, theheadanthonywalker.net. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Voice your opinions. Voice, what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you think Kevin Owens should have got Breakout Star of the Year? Who do you think should have got, Superstar of the Year? Who do you think should have won the awards? If you want, give us a list in the comments below. We're on YouTube. And if you want to check, like I said, check out my website, theheadanthonywalker.net. Check out the new episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast, which went up yesterday as well. Episode 90. Yes, I'm 10 away from 100. It even blows my mind. Also, check out various other videos as well coming this way. I've got SmackDown tomorrow. I might have a few more as well. I might do one for Christmas Day as well. I might do one on Christmas Day because I've got nothing else to do on Christmas Day except getting my presents and that. But we'll see anyway. All I know is tomorrow I've got SmackDown, and then next week I'll have another Raw review, and then the week after that I'll have a Raw review as well. So busy on the channel, and the only way you get to see them videos is if you subscribe to this channel where wrestling matters. Thank you so much for watching. Check out me making my debut on Max Wrestling podcast as well. Check out the previous episode, the newest episode as well. And if you like what you see on the channel, please subscribe, share, like, do all that good stuff. My name is Anthony Walker. I'm just babbling on right now. It's early hours in the morning. And tune in tomorrow for the SmackDown review, and I'll see you soon, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking the time to watch. My name is Anthony Walker. Peace out. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters podcast now on Twitter at WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? It is me, the H-E-A to that D. I told you I'd be back. And I'm back with another review video, very special edition of my review videos, ladies and gentlemen, because I have, that's right, a SmackDown review. That's right, Super SmackDown Live just ended, and I'm going to review it right here, right now. Hope you enjoyed it, by the way. I've got the edits up here. Go to my edits on the laptop. Ended with a great triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship, but kicked off with the tag team titles. And New Day versus Lucha Dragons for the tag team gold. I said this on Twitter, and I'll say this right now. I still believe New Day should have won Tag Team of the Year. I still believe that. How the fuck can the Usos win Tag Team of the Year? I do not know. That's a different matter. New Day win a great tag team match to kick off, thanks to Xavier Woods. The New Day can kiss my ass. I fucking hate them. Okay, I am done. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anyone in my clique, if you will, my wrestling clique that I do, but I do my podcast and everything, and I go on podcasts as well. I don't care what they say. I'm fucking done with the New Day. Okay, and sooner or later, the Lucha Dragons are going to be tag team champions. You heard that here. But I still, all in all, I still think they should have won Tag Team of the Year. Usos did not deserve it. More on the Usos later. What's next for New Day? I don't know. It's hard to say. tag team division now is, in a way, getting interesting. How interesting, I don't know. Time will tell. And the New Days, I'm trying to figure out when the New Day will be defending them belts again. It'll more likely be on the Raw program or SmackDown show. But can I see them defending it at the Rumble? I don't know. But all in all, New Day win. A great tag team match to start off. SmackDown, Super SmackDown. Then it was an 8-man tag again featuring the Wyatts and the Dudleys, but this time they didn't have Tommy Dreamer. They had Ryback with them. And it was Kane, Ryback, and the Dudleys versus the Wyatt family. And the Wyatts managed to get the win. I don't know where this feud's going. There seems to be something brewing there with Kane and the Wyatts, mainly Bray Wyatt. But mainly Braun Strowman as well. He seems to have an issue, or Strowman seems to have an issue with Kane, courtesy what happened when Undertaker and Kane chokeslammed him through the announce table at Survivor Series. So we may see a Kane and Braun Strowman match somewhere down the road. I know you people probably don't like that, but these two seem to have a beef there. At the end of the day, Kane has beef with the Wyatt family. I know that. How big the beef is, I don't know. Ryback is Ryback. Where this thing's going with them, with the Wyatts and the Dudleys, I don't know. To be honest with you, all the Dudleys seem to do is get beat up by the Wyatts. When that feud will end, I don't know. But it remains to be seen. And I know Tommy Dreamer will probably come back and they'll continue the war with them somewhere down the road. What else was there? Oh, yeah. Like I was saying with the Usos, the League of Nations tag team of Rusev and Alberto Del Rio went up against the Usos, courtesy of what happened on Raw with the beatdown. Now, I got to admit, this tag team of the Usos, and not the Usos, Alberto Del Rio and Rusev, I gotta like it. I gotta admit, I really do like it. I like it's something to do for Rusev at least. Why Alberto Del Rio is in there, I do not know, but it's something to do for them at least. It's a great tag team. I like it, and they beat up and obviously got the victory over the Usos. It was a great tag team match. Both teams went back and forth, but Alberto Del Rio and Rusev came out victorious over the tag team of the year. And I use that term loosely, very loosely indeed. I still don't understand that. But anyway, nothing against the Usos, but you win tag team of the year for what? Staying on the sideline for 6 months? Nah, don't work with me. The League of Nations plan to do what they did to Jack Swagger and Adrian Neville on Raw, and that's beat down the Usos. That was until Roman Reigns came out and chased them away and basically stood up to the League of Nations. I think, from the looks of it, I think Roman Reigns wants a piece of Wade Barrett because he seems to be hitting everybody else, but Wade Barrett seems to be running like a coward. We may see a Wade Barrett and Roman Reigns match down the road, but the world champion saved his cousins from a beatdown. Neville and Titus O'Neil against Cosmic Wasteland. This was just the whatever match for me. And Titus O'Neil and Neville won. Cosmic Wasteland was the Ascension, by the way. This is why I can't take Neville serious when he wins breakout star of the year at the Slammies. I can't take that seriously. And the reason why I can't take that seriously is because he's been put in matches with Stardust and stuff like that. And look what Kevin Owens had. He had great matches with Ziggler, matches with Ambrose. Hell, his matches when he first came on the roster with John Cena. Yes, I can't believe John Cena and great matches in the same sentence. I know all you haters are probably thinking that. But, it's just amazing that Kevin Owens gets shafted out with that. And he did. And I mean, I've got nothing against Neville. He's the future. And I see him as a future champion. Probably not a world champion, but maybe a US. But breakout star of the year, that should have went to Kevin Owens. I'm sorry. It's hard to me to say that because he's actually from the Northeast, the same Northeast that I'm from, except he's from Newcastle and I'm from Middlesbrough. But anyway, that's another issue for another day. Charlotte and Brie Bella, T-Bag came down the ringside and jumped Becky Lynch at ringside. They poured eggnog all over her, and Becky took a beat down from them, and Charlotte didn't do anything. What the hell is this direction? I mean, there's a Charlotte versus Becky Lynch match down the road. I think I could see Becky Lynch being the next Divas champion. I think that's what they're building to. Becky Lynch will beat Charlotte when they have their match, and Becky will become the Divas champion. I could see that happening. I really can. And I wouldn't mind seeing that happening, actually, to be honest. I mean, that might be just a friend helping out a friend, but, you know, the good thing about that match for me was Ric Flair wasn't about. But anyway, it was just a silly squash match. Brie Bella, Nikki hasn't done nothing since. I mean, she came out and represented and everything and did her thing for the when she won the Slammy Award. But it seems Brie's been taking over the position for Nikki at the moment, except she's been jobbing out. So, you know, where that's going to go, I don't know, but I could see a Becky and Charlotte match down the road. And quite frankly, I could see Becky winning, because that will be her revenge. Now, for the star of the night, the show stealer of the night, if you will, and that was Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens, and Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. Great triple threat match, unbelievable match, just back and forth. You know, one person hits one, the other one hits this, and it was just great stuff to watch. And it all culminated with Ambrose hitting the dirty deeds to retain on Dolph Ziggler. And that might be the end of the Kevin Owens-Dean Ambrose feud as well, because surely there's not going to be another match for Kevin Owens. Where Kevin Owens is going to go, I think he's going to aim for the Royal Rumble now and try and get a shot at the title of WrestleMania. Dolph will probably do the same thing. But, and hell, you never know. Dean Ambrose may do the same thing as well. I hope Dean Ambrose gets in and I hope he wins the match, to be honest with you. I would love to see what would make my WrestleMania next year would see Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania. I know that's probably not going to happen, but it'd be fucking epic. It would. I would mark out to that like I marked out when he won the Intercontinental Championship. All in all, a good show. And it was better than Raw's show, in my opinion. Very good show, better than Raw, Slammy Awards, or whatever you want to call it. And I would give that a solid 7, maybe an 8 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed it. Yes, there was the odd Cosmic Wasteland BS and all that stuff and everything with Neville. That was a whatever match. And the Charlotte and Becky Lynch situation as well. That was whatever. But like I said, the show stealer of the match of the night was Dean Ambrose, the main event itself, because the main event delivered big time. And like I said, SmackDown was 10 times better than Raw, in my opinion. You know, it didn't have the matches. All right, the only match that had build to it on Raw was Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler. But the rest of it was like the fill-in time for the show. They'd have been best off. Having just an award show for the whole evening, because the matches were like fill-in time matches. Oh yeah, we've had this awards here. We'll have this match in there just to fill time, you know, to fill the space in. But SmackDown was a whole lot better than Raw this week, in my opinion, and a great triple threat main event as well. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch the replays or try and find the replays in your area or wherever it is your area, because I would recommend watching that triple threat match. The only downfall to SmackDown Yes, it was 2 hours. That wasn't the downfall. It was the timing. It was the timing of the commercials for me. It seemed that they just started a match and then went straight to a commercial. That was the bollock of it for me. I didn't like that very much. But all in all, like I say, 7 to 8 out of 10 and a good SmackDown show. And I very much enjoyed it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. If you want to hear my comments about Tribute to the Troops, I suggest you tune into December 28th episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast, episode 91. Be sure to check that out. It'll be up on this very channel. There'll be more videos like this. I'll be back next week with another Raw review. I may be back during the week with something. It depends. I don't know. It depends what it is. I probably won't be back on Christmas Day because it is Christmas Day. But I'll be definitely, if I'm not back during the week, I'll be back next week for another Raw review. And then the week after that as well for another Raw review. So all that is scheduled. I had no idea there was a SmackDown show this week, a live SmackDown show this week. Quite frankly, I didn't even know Tribute to the Troops was on. But with all due respect, that's a rubbish show anyway because it's Tribute to the Troops and you have it in a stadium. You know, bring back the Afghanistan thing. But I know why that's not taking place. You know, it costs money to go over there and everything. And WWE obviously can't go or make that happen. I would prefer it over in Afghanistan, Tribute to the Troops, than in a stadium. But anyway, if you want to hear my thoughts on that, like I say, I suggest you tune into the Wrestling Matters podcast, episode 91. Tune in for more reviews. If you want to see more of this stuff, if you want to see more reviews or more podcasts, like, share, and do the one most important thing as well. The only way you can keep up to date with what's going on this channel, and that is subscribe. You have to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this stuff as well. Thank you so much for a great 2015. I have hit, considering who I was in August, I have hit 161 subscribers. Thank you so much for everybody's support, whether it's on the Wrestling Matters podcast, this channel, or even my other channel as well, the Games Matter channel as well, youtube.com/Games Matter channel. I have hit over 100 subscribers on there. Check out my website, theanthonywalker.net. This video will be on as well. And sometime this week, they'll both, Raw and SmackDowns, will both be on the Facebook page as well, facebook.com/WM Podcast, at WM Podcast on Twitter. Check out episode 40 of the Max Wrestling Podcast as well. Link is in the description. It features me making my debut. I'm also on episode on episode 41 as well, which goes out Boxing Day, I believe, or the 27th. It's either one. Both of them will be on there as well, and I'll leave the links in the description on next week's Raw review. Check them out. Have yourselves a Merry Christmas. I'll see you on the 28th for the podcast as well on this very channel. I'll see you the day after that as well for the Raw review. Have yourselves a Merry Christmas and stay safe and enjoy the festivities. And I'll see you soon. Peace. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Anthony Walker, the host and creator of the Wrestling Matters podcast and a long-time wrestling fan, encouraging everybody to sign a petition to get this man, this little picture in the corner right here, the British Bulldog, into the Hall of Fame where he belongs. There is a long list of people who are not in the Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame, and deserve to be in there. This man's one of them. Okay, I have been a fan of wrestling ever since I was a little child, and the fact that this man is not in the Hall of Fame, quite frankly, is a joke. He deserves it, and you can help sign this petition to get him in the Hall of Fame where he belongs. To sign the petition and show your support, go to www.teamdavyboysmith.com to sign the petition and show your support and help get this man in the Hall of Fame where he belongs. Long live the British Bulldog. Let's get him in the Hall of Fame. My name is Anthony Walker. Peace out. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 4 of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Now, I've already done some SmackDown, rather. So, without further ado, I'll talk about NXT, and then I'll move into the and talk about Tribute to the Troops. Now, 3 matches were on NXT this week. This was based off NXT London. It kicked off with a fatal 4-way match between tag teams involving Jason, Jordan, and Chad Gable. Blake Murphy, Hype Brothers, and the Vaudevillains. Jason, Jordan, and Chad Gable ended up winning that. Elias Sampson, if that's wrong, I apologise, defeated Bull Dempsey, and Ty Dillinger lost to the returning Sami Zayn. And go to WWE's YouTube page, check it out, okay? Because it has Sami Zayn talking to the NXT crowd after his match, which he won. So really nothing much. That's just the base off what happened on NXT London. The Tribute to the Troops thing kicked off with a 16-man tag team match, which saw the League of Nations team up with the Wyatt family to face Usos, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Dudley's, Ryback, and Kane as well. And that was all after a melee kickoff there. Jack Swagger beat Rusev in a boot camp match. A little Sergeant Slaughter specialty right there. Mark Henry defeats Bo Dallas, and anyone who defeats Bo Dallas is alright with me. Despite the fact that Bo Dallas came up dressed up as a American something American anyway, tried to get into the spirit of the Tribute to the Troops, but got destroyed by Mark Henry. Thank God. Like I say, anyone who destroys Bo Dallas is alright with me. Train performed, rock band, whatever. Again, this is Tribute to the Troops. Ryback defeated Kevin Owens by count out. Kevin Owens obviously still pissed that he's not the Intercontinental Champion anymore. Divas match. Paige and Team Bad defeat Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Brie Bella, and Alicia Fox. Yes, you heard me correct. 2 members of the old PCB, Charlotte and Becky Lynch, team up with 2 members of Team Bella, if you can believe that, and Team Bad, the only surviving trio out of that Divas Revolution, probably not for long. Comedian Huey Mendel, who's the host of, well, he's one of the judges last time I checked on America's Got Talent, and there was a Deal or No Deal USA version as well. I believe he hosted that as well. He shows up, and after that, the main event, or the last bit of the card, was the 16-man tag involving Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Usos, Dudleys, and Kane and Ryback, and they went up against the Wyatts and the League of Nations, which saw Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Usos, Dudleys, and Kane and Ryback get the victory. Following the brawl that erupted to kick off Tribute to the Troops, the 16-man tag team match was the only option to settle the score, with all 4 corners of the ring filled with competitors. Eric Rowan and Dean Ambrose kicked off the battle, and the bout began to unfold like an average tag team match. The team led by Roman Reigns enjoyed the early advantage, making sure to regularly rotate partners and maintain the advantage. However, the tides turned when Braun Strowman entered the ring to confront Bubba Ray Dudley. In an effort to even the odds, Bubba tagged in Kane, and the 2 monsters of the ring exchanged powerful strikes. Strowman taking control. Eventually, Reigns' squad retaliated, and soon thereafter, the match erupted into a full-blown bedlam brawl. A second all-out brawl ensued and spilled onto the outside. Jimmy and Jey Uso seized the opportunity to take to the skies, knocking out the League of Nations and the Wyatts. In turn, 2 legal superstars, Ambrose and Luke Harper, exchanged strikes in the middle of the ring. Strowman attempted to regain control of the bout, but combined force of Roman Reigns' team removed the monstrous competitor from the ring, ultimately allowing Ambrose to catch Harper in Dirty Deeds for the win. And that was about it for the Tribute to the Troops and the NXT main talking points. I don't want to talk about it too much, guys, but we all know what happened and everything, and like I said, the NXT was just based off the NXT in London, because they recorded that show right after London. So that about wraps that up for this part of the Wrestling Matters podcast. I'll be back after this with ICW and, apologies for that, ICW and Ring of Honor, as well as the final part of the Michael Larkin talk that I had, and as well more info on Mystery Island and So Cal Val coming to Mystery Island January 2nd. So stay tuned.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Gal Dem Sugar Shubs.
Yes! Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters Podcast, and now it's time for the Ring of Honor review. And what an action-packed Ring of Honor it was. It started up with Will Ferrara against Caprice Coleman, which ended in a no contest. Now, these two will be receiving envelopes from Prince Nana, who was at ringside doing color commentary, and this match escalated out of control because the referee ended up throwing that out because both men were using chairs and both men were on the verge of killing each other. So, like Kevin Kelly said, what was in them envelopes that Prince Nana gave them? Because whatever it was, it seemed to have an effect on them both. All in all, the match eventually got thrown out. Why, I don't know, but you know, I mean, I think there's this rule in Ring of Honor now: if you hit somebody with a chair, you get suspended, kind of rule. And the referees and security came in to break it up before it got out of hand even more. So Caprice Coleman, Will Ferrara got a new contest. Outlaw Ken Phoenix and Donovan Dijak went up against ANX on that Express. Now, this was, or could have been, Ken's initiation into the House of Truth, but Truth Martini didn't allow that to happen. It was a great tag match. All Night Express proven they are one of the top tag teams in Ring of Honor at the moment, and they tried to get in there and tried to, you know, show their superiority. Didn't work half the time because Dijak and Ken did show some good showings. Ken Phoenix, though, did not get his initiation into, or was allowed to be a part of the House of Truth, because Truth Martini gave a Batista thumbs up but into thumbs down, and then Dijak hit Feast Your Eyes with it, which is the, I suppose you can, a unique version of the Go to Sleep, and that was the end of Ken Phoenix. Steve Corino popped out, he's had his neck surgery. He came out to talk to Kevin Kelly, and he said when his neck is clear and he is all good to wrestle, BJ Whitmer must pay for his sins. So the offer that Nigel McGuinness made before Christmas, which he had to decline due to the neck surgery, it may still happen. It's just a case of where and when. Now for a 10-man tag Christmas surprise, which saw a team captained by Roderick Strong and a team captained by Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal had Mark Briscoe on his side. Jay Briscoe, sorry. Mark Briscoe was on Roderick Strong's side, which was interesting. Moose was on Roderick Strong's side as well. Cheeseburger was on Jay Lethal's side. It was just a very unique 10-man tag, which saw a lot of matches, a lot of confrontations in the match that I wouldn't mind seeing on an ROH pay-per-view or even a TV show, quite frankly, in the future. A lot of great stuff in there as well. Even the one of the Young Bucks as well was in there as well, and he super kicked Cliff Compton. Yes, you heard me correct. Cliff Compton off the top rope, and Cliff went straight through a table, which was one of the highlights of the match. The match ended though. It was action-packed, fast-paced, hard-hitting, great main event, a great unique 10-man tag main event, which ended with Mark Briscoe getting the froggy elbow and getting the victory after Roderick Strong hit Adam Page with the suplex into a backbreaker kind of move that he does, and then Briscoe hits the elbow on Adam Page as well to get the victory. And everybody after the match shook Cheeseburger's hand because they respected the way he fights and the way and his heart and everything. So all in all, a good show for Ring of Honor, and a good way to end the show as well with a main event like that. A very unique, unorthodox main event, and I will give it a 4 out of 5 because it was okay. Very, very good Ring of Honor show. Right, I didn't want to talk about it too much, guys. We've already took up a lot of the time, and I don't want to do this podcast too much, but you got a brief inkling. You can watch the Ring of Honor show on ROH TV, at least until the next time Ring of Honor is on television, and then they'll put that up as well. But get there fast if you haven't seen it, because it'll go quick. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take a quick time out here, and I'll be back right after this quick time out with ICW's review. So stay tuned. If you like the Wrestling Matters Podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters Podcast now on Twitter at WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to to the Wrestling Matters podcast, and I nearly said ICW podcast because it's now time for some ICW and the third installment of the Friday Night Fight Club, which kicked off with tag team titles, 55 challenging Polo Promotions. Now, two great teams, but it wasn't really much of a tag team match. It was more a 2-on-1 handicap match at times because Jackie's knee injury that he had bothered him throughout the match, and it got to the point where Mark had to fight the match 2-on-1. Jackie did come out, did deliver some offense, basically took on the 55 on one leg, but James R. Kennedy got involved, and that allowed 55 to win the tag team titles on the third attempt. And like I said on Twitter, finally, because it was got to the point right now where if you were going to put the tag team titles on the 55, just do it already. And they eventually did. And now the 55 are the ICW Tag Team Champions. Joe Coffey was in action as well. I might as well do this now. And he went toe-to-toe with Michael Chase. Just great hard-hitting offense, great hard-hitting wrestling, and allowed Joe Coffey to hit a discus clothesline after Michael Chase's springboard splash mistake. And Joe Coffey got the victory. A good match all around, and Joe declared himself number one. He plans on the 24th at the Square Go to do a Shawn Michaels and go from one to the end, beating 29 other guys in the Square Go. Hopefully, will he get it done? We'll find out January 24th. Viper went 1-on-1 with Kaylee Ray for the women's title. These two knocked fuck out of each other. Great women's match. Good, solid wrestling between the two. These two, just some of the greatest women, British women around. Kaylee Ray is a star. Should she have won TNA British Boot Camp? Maybe. There was a case for her. I would have said more Rampage Brown, but anyway. But considering the direction TNA's gone, I guess it was a positive that she didn't win TNA's British Boot Camp. But her and Viper went back and forth in the match, and it got to the point at the end where Viper hits Snakebite to retain the title. After the match, Nikki comes out, attacks Kaylee Ray. Both of them brawl on the outside, and then Viper just jumps on them both and then challenged them to a rematch from the SECC in Fear and Loathing's show on January 3rd to settle this once and for all. So on January 3rd in ICW it will be Viper, Kaylee Ray, Nikki Storm for the ICW women's title. Now to the main event. Red Lightning abuses his power. He is so determined to take the ICW World Heavyweight title away from Grado. The match that was scheduled, Dave Mastiff versus Grado, turned into Zach Gibson versus Dave Mastiff versus Grado. Now this was interesting because for most of the match, for the first half of the match, it was Gibson and Mastiff beating on Grado. Origin, for any Progress Wrestling fans, beating on Grado. Didn't quite work out the way they wanted it. Mastiff did take Grado to Suplex City because he hit German suplex after German suplex. The more Grado focused on Zach Gibson. The fight was in the crowd. Both men was, like I said, were supposed to beat up Grado without fighting each other, but Zach ruined that. And then Grado beats Zach Gibson after Zach injures his leg, and then Grado manages to beat Zach Gibson to retain the ICW title. Red Lightning was not happy. Him and the Black Label, as well as the 55, beat down Zach Gibson, and Mastiff also got his shots in as well. So what's next for Grado? We'll have to wait and see. But the main event next week is Mikey Whiplash 1-on-1 with Jack Jester. So that should be interesting. Plus, Tommy End's back in ICW next week as well on the Friday Night Fight Club episode 4. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I will give that a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. And I'll be back in the next part, the final part of the Wrestling Matters podcast, because I've got some promos and some stuff to talk about as well. And I'll do that in the final part. But after the break is the final part of the Michael Larkin chat, interview, whatever you go Michael Larkin episode. And then sometime this week, excuse my hiccups there, sometime this week I'll put up the full episode of the Michael Larkin interview on SoundCloud. I've been meaning to do it, but I've been busy over Christmas, but it will be done this week, guaranteed. All in all, I'll be back in the final part. Enjoy the last part of the Michael Larkin's interview. See you in a bit.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shubs.
Yes! Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
I'm not going to waste anybody's time. I don't waste anybody's time, and I don't want people wasting my time. Okay? I've had a lot of people offer to come on the podcast, to come on and do interviews like yourself with Michael, like what I'm doing here with Michael. But they've never turned up, or they're late and everything, and I didn't sign up for that, to be honest. Yes, I can give people chances and all that, and not judge a book by its cover first time around, but I don't do that. You know, I do that on occasions if it's necessary, but at the end of the day, I don't want my time wasted. You either work with me or you don't. If you don't bother calling me. It's as simple as that. All I'm aiming for to do is promote the best in professional wrestling. That's why we talk about WWE, Ring of Honor, TNA,
the Indies, what have you. We just talk professional.
Indies, British wrestling in general as well.
Yeah.
I will be talking about Progress Wrestling again in probably the new year. I'll be bringing my Progress Wrestling podcasts back. Thinking about doing them more on the YouTube page, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Even if I do them on the YouTube page, I'll probably put the audio up on the SoundCloud anyway, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I'm looking to bring back the Progress Wrestling podcast as well in the new year. As well, that's announced as well, because I've actually missed doing that, to be honest, because I actually enjoyed the Progress Wrestling stuff, especially with Jimmy Havoc's heel work. So ICW, I'm looking to bring that back in the new year also, but it depends where I'm going to go with that. I mean, I did a couple of I couldn't do the Fear and Loathing month that I wanted to, but I did do a couple of reviews for ICW on the Wrestling Madness channel as well, leading into Fear and Loathing. Yeah, I'll look to bring that back in the new year and see where it goes and see where it all stands as well. But at the end of the day, I just want to bring the best in professional wrestling. And at the moment right now, in my opinion, the stuff that I talk about, maybe TNA taken out of there and putting it to its own side at the moment, but Ring of Honor, yeah, I've got to talk about WWE, SmackDown and RAW as well, because it is what it is, even though they suck. But hell, I'm WWE fan. I've been WWE fan all my life, so obviously they're going to be in there at some point. NXT, Ring of Honor, and yeah, maybe TNA. But I'm looking to bring in some more stuff as well. Look out for the future as well, because the Friday Night Fight Club returns to ICW as well. They're bringing back the Friday Night Fight Club, and I will be reviewing that on the formatted, the original episode of the podcast that we do every Monday. So I'll be putting that on there as well. I might replace that with TNA. I don't know. I can't replace it with Ring of Honor because Ring of Honor is hot at the moment. So yeah. But in any event, few more questions.
Okay.
What is your target goal for the S&M podcast? Because I know you don't do it alone. You do it with a friend.
Yes.
What is your target for the S&M podcast? And plus, you know what? I don't think I've ever asked you this question. How did this S&M podcast come about?
Oh man, me and my buddy Steve Nicoforo have been friends since high school. We've been friends for about 7 years now. And there was just one new year we started, and we're just like, hey man, we should do a podcast. Let's I got my thing about professional wrestling and how I'm a diehard fan. You like your hockeys and your baseball and whatever. We could just talk about general topics. And he's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And, due to some family stuff, we didn't get it done that year. But, as years went by, we got into it, and I brought it up again. I said, what do you think about doing this? And he goes, yeah, let's do it. So, you know what? I got my equipment here that I talk with you on, do with every other, podcast that we do, and with the people who I discuss with. And just, we just wanted to get out there and just entertain people. I wanted to talk about my wrestling, so I do solo stuff. He does his solo stuff at the Stevie Nicks Experience, which I produce because he uses my equipment. And he talks about his New York Islanders, New York Mets, and overall it's just to entertain people, just get the stuff that's out on our minds and just talk about generalization of topics and just shoot the breeze overall.
What has been your favorite interview? Because I know I've seen you you haven't just done me.
Man.
You haven't done, you haven't just interviewed or talked to me as you've done. You've done other people as well, preferably not necessarily all wrestling, from what I've seen as well. How did all that come about?
My friend Jason Holly is a rapper. The BBC Chappelle. He's in Queens. He lives in Queens, New York. He's a talented rapper. So we just talked about some rapping on the interview, and we talked about rap music and the history and just stuff that he's into, his likes, his dislikes, etc. My friend Darren Zawalk out of Oklahoma. He's a gospel pop artist. He's very religious, and I am too, because I'm blessed for what I have. I'm blessed with the friends and family that I have in my life. So the Lord is very important to me. And Jason Hemmons is an artist out of California. I crossed some of his stuff out on YouTube, and he did some stuff for Michael Jackson, who was one of my favorite artists. And we just talked about music and what he has going on. So I pretty much like all the interviews that I've done. I did the interview with my friend, the great Bambino, CJ Antonino, a independent wrestler out of Islip, New York. He wrestles for Suffolk Wrestling Alliance and Mikey Whipwreck's New York Wrestling Connection. Very talented competitor. I enjoyed talking wrestling with him. We talked about, what's going on in WWE, TNA, the Indies, like, you and I do. He's a big wrestling fan, and just, I've enjoyed all of them, really. I enjoy just discussing and interacting with people.
Yeah, you just reminded me about something that I've got to do as well. I just want to give... I'll do that at the end of the podcast. What is your aim for this podcast? I mean, I aim, obviously, I'm not going to lie, guys, I aim to make a profit out of this, make some money out of it. I've just got this podcast, I've got my website as well, theanthonywalker.net. I've just got that cleared with the Google AdSense, so hopefully I can make some income out of that. Not just, Google AdSense and, get the getting the all clear to show ads on there as well, and hopefully people convince them to click on it and whatever. I'll be sorting that out in due time. But at the end of the day, I'm, like I say, guys, going back to what I was saying, we all in this to make money. What's your aim or your goals that you want to achieve with these podcasts?
Definitely just to put smiles on people's faces. Definitely, obviously, the profit. But as of right now, I've been having personal issues right now, with the family-wise. Just mostly just want to take care of my family. I've been working my other job. Just, like I said, just to put smiles on people's faces and hope they enjoy the audio content that we put out there. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, that's fine. You can listen to other stuff. But as long as we entertain you and we get a reaction out of you, we're happy.
Yeah, just make sure something as well. Remember what I said to you about the last time we had a conversation about your audio?
Oh yeah, and
being too low.
Yeah, I gotta get I gotta definitely get my mic fixed. I know that. That's definitely coming after the holidays, and yeah, I've just been cranking up and tinkering with it. So yeah, but yeah, as you can see, I don't know if you've listened, but the audios haven't been that low as of late, so I've been doing a little bit tinkering.
They've been they were far better than what they were. I'll give you that. But like I say, the more higher people and the more, I'm not saying put like on full blast.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that as well. Just get them up higher to where people can hear them, because if you try to draw them views and try to draw them listens and everything, not a lot of people are going to listen. If it's like a mute version.
Yeah, that's why I take your advice wholeheartedly there, because you do.
Yeah, I mean you've got to make sure on that as well, because if people can't hear what you're damn saying.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's one thing them watching you, like I say, on the Wrestling Matters channel as well. If it's like one thing them watching you on the Wrestling Matters channel, or whatever the fuck, boom, 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 and then you realise, they can't hear what you're saying. That ain't gonna work. They want to hear what you're talking about. They want to hear what you're trying to put out. Because if they don't, it's, it is what it is at the end of the day. And they're not going to be paying in any interest. And I believe that wraps this up, guys.
Oh, before we wrap up, I did want to ask you a quick question.
Oh yeah, go shoot.
Okay, on Raw we did see the Dudleys, with the tables with the Wyatt's name on it. I think it's interesting because I think we could turn this into an 8-man tag at TLC. I think it should be the whole Wyatt family against the Dudleys and Dreamer, and I think their partner should be a returning Rob Van Dam. Do you think that should be a good idea there?
Do you know what? You just reminded me about that, because I actually had the same discussion with the guy at work about this, who they could bring back.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can get someone, maybe like a Sandman, to come back if he's in shape, or if he's in good nick, to come back, and maybe they can have a ECW versus Bray Wyatt, ECW versus Wyatt family. Because I'll admit, I wasn't expecting Tommy Dreamer to come back.
Yeah.
Because he's doing the House of Hardcore situation and his own promotion, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I saw a few bits of the House of Hardcore, Bobby Roode matches, Young Bucks versus Team 3D. Yes, you heard me correct, Team 3D, Dudley Boys, as well, and they do some good stuff, and he does some good stuff. So the only thing that, I was surprised to see him back, and the only thing that tells me, he's got to have come up with a deal, or he's got to have come up with some sort of a deal involving him, WWE, and the House of Hardcore promotion, his promotion. There's got to be some sort of deal there lurking with WWE and the House of Hardcore promotion that Tommy runs. There's got to be some sort of a deal there, otherwise he wouldn't have come back. Because why would you want to come back to WWE when you're running a promotion?
Exactly.
When you're running your own stuff and everything. So surely, it's probably not a full-time thing.
Oh yeah.
It's probably not a full-time, like a full-time thing. Maybe a part-time, or maybe a here and there kind of thing. But there's got to have been a deal worked between WWE, Tommy Dreamer, Vince McMahon, and the House of Hardcore promotion that Tommy runs. There's got to have been a deal there. Whether it's partnership, whether Vince or Triple H in general sees... Because they were friends. Tommy and Shane were best of friends, apparently, and Tommy has worked on the committee for WWE as far as booking goes, and they held talent as well. He's even mentioned that in a podcast interview. So there's some connection there. But it's like with WWE with ECW. ECW was behind the scenes partners with ECW. WWE was partners with ECW behind the scenes and everything, despite what they were doing on air. Because Vince and co thought they could see their talent, the talent in ECW, and they had some great talent in ECW. They could be superstars in WWE. And it was also good ground for developmental at the time as well, developing characters. Like, they had Brackus there. It wasn't getting anywhere in WWE at the time. Al Snow, who basically was on another planet until he walked into a mannequin head. God bless him, Darren Droz, who was the supposed third man in LOD. He wasn't getting anywhere, and he went down and did a thing, a time or two in ECW as well. They developed all these characters in there, and and even Heyman said it on the documentary DVD that he had, I am Paul Heyman, or my name is Paul Heyman. He had, like I say, it was Brackus, Doug Furnace and Philip LaFawn. I believe it was just Doug Furnace at the time. I don't know if Philip LaFawn. I believe Philip LaFawn was in there. I don't know. I don't remember. I know Doug was in there.
Yeah, I remember being in there as well.
Yeah, Al Snow and stuff like that. And Vince wanted Too Cold Scorpio and Doug Furnace and Philip LaFawn's and that. But he was more worried about getting... And even Bam Bam Gordy was in there. Terry Gordy was in there as well. A Freebird member. But, he didn't, get that in there. He didn't get that connection with it. And Paul Heyman was worried about selling or letting what I call it go.
Yes.
Too Cold Scorpio go, because Too Cold Scorpio was apparently under some sort of a £1,000 deal with a company there, but Vince got him to pay said that he'll pay the firm, with $1,000 just to cover ECW. But yeah, I mean, like I said, going back to what I was saying, surely there's been a deal there worked with WWE and the House of Hardcore, Tommy Dreamer, Vince McMahon, and Triple H in general. Surely there has to be a deal, because that's the only reason, or that's the only thing that I can see on the reason why Dreamer came back in WWE. Like I say, obviously it's not a deal. It's not a supposed a deal with like for him to come back full time and everything, because like I said, why would you take a full time deal when you're running your other company? But yeah, that's the only reason I can see about that, because to be honest, Tommy Dreamer doesn't even need to be back in WWE. Or maybe he was back because it was Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh was close to Philadelphia, and it was ECW town. I don't know, but will we see Tommy Dreamer again on Raw? Yes, I would imagine he'll continue this fight with the Dudleys with Wyatt, unless Dudleys go out and get Wyatt and get 2 more new guys and let Tommy Dreamer go back to what he was doing. But yeah, I could see this being an 8-man tag. It's obviously going to be a tables match. Mm-hmm. You could see that coming with the TLC pay-per-view coming up. But I don't see it involving Bray Wyatt at the moment, because Bray Wyatt has already gone through a table, and the Dudleys came out on Raw, wanting to put Bray, Bray Wyatt and co through a table. But the interesting dynamic about this is, it's going to be interesting to see how they attempt to put Braun Strowman through a table.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't see this being, though, even though it would be fucking epic if they did. I don't see this being an 8-man tag. I hope it is. I would probably see this more being a 6-man tag.
Yeah.
Dreamer, Dudleys versus
Harper, Rowan, and Strowman.
Yes, because Wyatt's already been put through a table, unexpectedly. But hey, he's already been put through a table. So, would they, would it make sense to put Bray Wyatt in there? Yeah, probably would. Because it's the Wyatt family and everything. But then you answer a question to yourself, or you answer your question as a booker: who would you pick to join the Dudleys? Who would you pick there to join the Dudleys? Who would you go out and get to join the Dudleys? It would make sense if that was the case to do that. Obviously, it'd have to be somebody who hates the Wyatt family, or who's been feuding with the Wyatt family, or that. But I would like to see them bring back maybe an old ECW favorite.
Well, you also got Rhino in NXT if they wanted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rhino could be in NXT. Rhino's in NXT, although he hasn't signed a full-time contract.
Sure.
Although he still could be used, but he hasn't signed a full-time contract, because that's why Rhino, on occasions, you've seen him in ICW. I mean, he wrestled Joe Coffey at the ICW show, Fear and Loathing. That's why he's been allowed to do stuff like that as well. I would imagine it's not just ICW he's been involved in. He's been involved in a few other shows as well, besides ICW, outside of NXT. I think Samoa Joe signed a deal, so
yes,
maybe they could bring him up to the roster, but I don't know what the fuck they'll do with him. I would prefer him to be more in NXT, and he's already developed a feud with him and Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, as well. But yeah, as much as I agree with you and see this to be an 8-man tag, or would like this to be an 8-man tag, I would probably see this more as a 6-man tag. But we all know it's going to be a tables match.
Yeah, see that a mile away.
you could see it a mile away, and surely they will, surely they're not dumb enough to say, no, let's not make this a tables match. Let's not make this a tables match. Let's make this something else. Because considering what's been going on, surely it's a tables match. That's just my opinion on that.
I agree.
But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we'll wrap this up there. An hour and a half. Good grief. But yeah, more footage the better, and hopefully this will grow into, say, 2 hours, because I'd like to do this a little bit more.
Yes.
A little bit more longer. But hey, it only grows. These episodes, guys, will only grow from here, just like mine will on the, hopefully on the, on Michael's show as well.
Yes, definitely. I was actually going to say that to you. I was going to say I'll probably contact you after the holidays for another go. Yeah. Episode 4.
Yeah. I'll do the same with you as well. Let me know as well. Obviously, the next episode of this, guys, will be after the holidays. It'd be stupid to put another one up at the holidays, because we all know the holidays is right around the corner. I would probably say with me, Michael, anytime after January 2nd.
Anytime after January 2nd. You got it.
Yeah, just to give you a heads up, because I'm working January 2nd at the border. And it still technically is the holidays, really, and it leading into January 2nd, because you got New Year's Day the 1st and everything.
Yes.
So, anytime after that, I'm cool. I'm cool with that, just to give you the heads up. As far as dates go, I'll let you decide on that.
Yes, sir.
Same with me as well. Anytime after the holidays with me, as far as coming on your show as well. You want to do it straight away, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a New Year's special or something. Who knows? But yeah, anytime after January 2nd would be perfect to get me on your show, and vice versa as well. Since it's still technically the holidays after that, and we don't want anything to interfere.
Yeah, I think I got family coming through, so yeah, I'll probably contact you more around early January.
Yeah, but in any event, Michael, you know what to do.
Yes,
This
sir.
is where I give you the platform to put your stuff over. Take care of business.
All right, guys, you can check us out on Facebook. Like us at www.facebook.com/SM Show Podcast. You can check us out. Also, we have a Fan Central page, to interact with us as well. That's facebook.com/SNM Show Fan Central. You can follow myself on Twitter at SM Show 1, the number 1. You can also find me at MCL92 on Twitter. Either way, I'll interact with you both. It's just, that my MCL92 is more my personal one, and I have one for the show. But either way, I'll interact with you. It's cool. Shoot me a tweet. My partners is at Stevie Nicks SM on the Twitter, and on Instagram it's Isles Mets SM, and mine on Instagram is at Larkin_92. And the SoundCloud is soundcloud.com/MCLarkin92. Excuse me.
And same with me as well, guys. Facebook.com/WM Podcast, at WM Podcast on Twitter, theAnthonyWalker.net as well, where you can listen to the episodes besides SoundCloud as well. SoundCloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast. You can also listen to the show as well on my website as well. And check out my Games Matter channel as well. Check that out as well for live streams. Hopefully at the start of the new year, I will have a network for that channel as well. I've already got a network for the Wrestling Matters channel. So hopefully everything's a good net. I can't put the network on the Games Matter channel yet because I'm still connected to another network, which I'm waiting to be released from. Once I get the clear to be from that, I will be able to put the network on the Games Matter channel as well, for the time being at least. And without further ado, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. For Michael Larkin, I am Anthony Walker, like I say. And until next time, guys, peace out.
Happy holidays, everyone.
If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back to the final part, ladies and gentlemen, of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Hope you enjoyed the ICW, Ring of Honor, and Michael Larkin segments there. The final part of the Michael Larkin interview there. Hope you enjoyed that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, January 2nd, okay? January 2nd, Birkenhead at the Mystery Island. So Cal Val will be there, okay? 28th, it's now the 28th of December as this is going out. You have got literally 6 days, maybe 5 days, okay, to get your butts down there and check it out. If you're in the area, get yourself over there. So Cal Val will be at Birkenhead's Mystery Island shop, signing autographs, taking photos, chilling out, meeting the people, doing all that good stuff as well. If you want more information, go to Da Mystery Island on Twitter, Back to the Island on Facebook. Also, if you want more information or if you want to know how to get to these links, go to theheadanthonywalker.net because all the links will be on there. Check out the partners segment, the partners section rather, of the channel, and everything will be there. Just go on there, click, and you'll be straight to the segments as well, and you'll be straight to all the information that you need for the Mystery Island. So January 2nd, So Cal Val will be there. Okay, Birkenhead, Mystery Island, Birkenhead, Liverpool. If you're in the area, get yourself over there. Or if you can make it to the area, just get yourself over there. Check it out. Also, like I said, theheadanthonywalker.net for the chance to listen to this podcast, watch my weekly reviews on WWE wrestling and all that. Also, guys, I'm still in negotiations with Max Wrestling UK. Might be going on their network. I will be doing business with them. It's just finding out to broaden out where it's going to be and how it's going to be set out and everything, because he's offered me a Sunday slot, but as you know, this goes out Monday, so I'm sure we can work something out and do business in that way as well. Also, check out my Games Matter channel, Games Matter, youtube.com/Games Matter channel. Check it out. I've got a FM Manager, FM Football Manager 16 series starting, WWE 2K16 series starting, my career mode. Also, classic GTA games as well, San Andreas, Vice City series starting soon as well, and the only way you get to see it is if you subscribe to that channel. If you want to know how to get there, links will be in the description, or just go to my website, theheadanthonywalker.net, because the links will be on there as well. Also, guys, a few changes that I might be making to the site. It's still going to be the same, theheadanthonywalker.net. You can still listen to it, but I'm going to try a few things out as well. Hopefully they will work, and hopefully it will give you a better chance to listen to this podcast on that site as well, and hopefully it'll be able to benefit me. All in all, ladies and gentlemen, hope you've enjoyed this Christmassy episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast. My name is Anthony Walker. Just wanted to say thank you for your support throughout the year, from 2014 to where we are right now. It has been an absolute honor to do this podcast for you each and every week. The more I do it, the more it grows, the more feedback I get and everything. And like I say, guys, what you hear on this podcast, just like on the videos on the Wrestling Matters channel, are my opinions. You don't have to agree with them, you don't have to like them, but at the end of the day, everybody has an opinion when it comes to the world of professional wrestling, because that's what makes it superb. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoy the new year. I will see you in the new year. I will see you on January 4th for the next installment, which is episode 92. Don't forget, guys, according to my calculations, from what I've got, February 29th will be the 100th episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast. That's right, 100 episodes of this very show, and I'm looking to make it big, okay? I'm looking to make it big. So I call out anybody, Max Wrestling UK, Sunday Segway, Offshoot Radio, Vicky Earls, Steve Dawson, Darren Dyer, Tim Vicious. I don't give a damn who it is. You want to come on, be a part of the 100th episode? Let me know. Hook me up, and we can make that happen, no doubt. I want to have some fun on that episode because it's 100 episodes. Never thought in my wildest dreams I'd make it to 100 episodes. It took me nearly 2 years to do so, and you know what? It's been worth it every minute. So February 29th, 100 episodes. Till next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. Enjoy the rest of the week. Happy New Year. I'll see you on January 4th. Peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.